have equated anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism.
It is.
Except it's literally not. Listen closely to how he somersaults away from actually answering her question.
In preparation for this conversation, I talked to a lot of different people. And one of the things I heard is that anti-Zionism for them is a desire to have the rights of Palestinians be equal to the rights of Jews in Israel and the Palestinian territories. The idea of sort of, I guess, the one-state solution, if you will. Is that definition of anti-Zionism to you anti-Semitic?
Well, look, if you believe that only Jewish people don't have the right to self-determination, that's anti-Semitic.
I hope you guys caught that manipulation. She says to him, the way people define anti-Zionism is rejecting supremacy, is saying that Palestinians who live in the occupied territories and in Gaza and within the Israeli regime deserve to have the same rights as the Jewish people living there. And instead of actually taking on what she's saying, what the argument actually is, he deflects by saying, well, look, if you're going to say that we can't have an apartheid supremacist state, that's a double standard and anti-Semitic. This is Jonathan Greenblatt, by the way, the head of the Apartheid Defense League, or the Anti-Defamation, just gave an interview recently saying that he was very alarmed about intermarriage rates, meaning he's alarmed that people are interreligiously and interracially marrying. That sounds like supremacy to me. Oh, well, that's a double standard. How is that a double standard? I oppose bigots saying that people shouldn't interracial marry no matter who they are. The gaslighting around this is so dark and so dangerous because when he says, oh, this is about self-determination, everyone knows that they mean domination. This is not about self-determination. This is about dominating another group of people. Your self-determination doesn't get to come at the expense of human rights of other people. That is what anti-Zionism is, which is the opposite of Zionism, which Zionism says that they get to dominate another whole people in order to keep an ethno-state, an ethno-supremacist apartheid state in which Jewish people have human rights and Palestinians do not. And anti-Zionism says that's unacceptable. You don't get to dominate another people. You don't get to control and have your self-determination come at the expense of the dignity and the basic human rights of another group. My favorite part, though, is when he tries to lie and go, oh, this is a widely accepted definition.
So if you believe my definition of Zionism, which is really not my definition, it's widely accepted.
Again, not true. His definition is talking about the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism, which includes any criticism of the state of Israel. That is not widely accepted. In fact, it's incredibly controversial, which is why when Congress only last year voted on a resolution to affirm that definition, there was outrage, and rightfully so. It's another reason why there's been rightful outrage over the fact that he, Jonathan Greenblatt, and the ADL worked directly with TikTok to create a separate role with the help of the ADL that holds that view. The only reason why his organization and others like it are pushing to make that the widely accepted definition is so that they can crush any legitimate criticisms of the Israeli regime and what they are doing to Gaza. I'm attaching both of the videos I did about TikTok's decision to hire an ex-IOF officer for a specially created role in conjunction with the ADL. I will tag them here. I also have the letter in the form in the link in my bio. You can go there to sign that letter to TikTok. The reason why we need to continue to make a big deal about this and push back on this lie that anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism is because of the serious and direct harm that it has, not only on our speech rights, but on Palestinians living in the occupied territories and in Gaza. People who already don't have a voice that are living there because of the fact that they don't have equal rights. So it's actually incumbent upon all people in the world, but especially in the West, to fight against this and push back against this, because the Palestinians that are living in Israel and the Palestinians living in the occupied territory, ironically, don't have a voice and rights to push back on it because the ideology of Zionism, of which he promotes, makes it so that they can't. Zionism is a racist and supremacist ideology. Anti-Zionism is the ideology that calls for all peoples to be equal and get to live in dignity. And when we're talking about the Israeli regime, we're saying Palestinians also have a right to self-determination. Jews should be safe. Jews should have the right to self-determine, and so should Palestinians. And the right of Jews to self-determine does not get to come at the expense of the dignity and the freedom of the Palestinians. And no amount of lying or smearing Palestinians or the pro-Palestinian cause by apartheid Andy over here is going to change that fact. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.